Good morning and welcome to Eurosport's continuing coverage of the Wiesmann-supported World Cup of cross-country racing. Today, the last day of racing before the Christmas holidays, and it's all about pursuit racing. Later in the day, the men's 15-kilometer pursuit. More immediately, it's the women's 10-kilometer pursuit. On the same track known as Natalie in this part of the world, named after Nathalie Santer, the former biathlete who's the chief of competition here for this weekend. And it's a testing loop, but perhaps the big difference between yesterday and today is the air temperature and the snow temperature, because the temperature is lingering around 0, which for classic racing today will be more testing for the servicemen. Will the racers be opting with their servicemen to go for skis with wax to get the grip for the climb, or will some of them take a different route and perhaps opt for the waxless skis? Well, we're here in the Südtirol, in the northern Dolomites, about 70 kilometers from the city of Bolzano, pretty close to the border with Austria, and it's a gorgeous part of the world. Buckets of snow here, so not only everything brilliantly prepared for the World Cup, but also for about the first time in about 8 years, the best snow conditions leading up into the Christmas and New Year holidays. So everybody who's booked or planned to come to this part of the world, or indeed across much of continental Europe, are looking forward to one of the best snow conditions that they've had for many a season. Well, here's the bridge, which is part of the characteristic of this stadium. Now, yesterday, the winner, of course, was Charlotte Kaller, but today she will be saying to the rest of her pursuers, "Catch me if you can." Now, right behind her will be no less than 5 Norwegians, and the first to chase her will be Norway's Ragnhild Hage.
Looking ahead to the pursuit, just 3 seconds back of Charlotte, but then just ahead of Heidi. It will be an interesting race.
Yeah, I think it will be very exciting. Classic is something I've practiced a lot before the season, so I hope to manage to do a good race tomorrow.
Do you think if you can predict a team meeting tonight, do you have team tactics, or is it a little bit, for sure you'll probably all get together at some point in the race, but or you're fighting for yourself?
Oh, I think we will try to plan something, the Norwegian team, to catch up with Charlotte. And but it's always exciting to see who has a good day and who is has not. So we will wait to see tomorrow. But I'm sure we will try to plan something for catching her.
Perfect. Well, on your own, good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Well, Ragnhild ranked 3rd at the moment in the overall World Cup rankings for the season, and enjoying her very best season ever with the distance races. Well, you know, in the 5 we've had, 6th, 1st, 3rd, 2nd, and yesterday in 2nd place again, so very, very consistent. Well, we're going to take a little break before we get underway. About 6 minutes to go to the start. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Toblach in the Südtirol. Just a couple of minutes away now from the start of this women's 10-kilometer pursuit, and the starting order, it's relevant to the order in which they finished yesterday's 10-kilometer freestyle skate. I'm David Goldstrom, together with Eurosport's Nordic team, and the woman who's going to get us underway today is the leader of the World Cup, Charlotte Kaller, victorious yesterday. And as you can see there, the air temperature there just hovering around 0, the snow temperature 5.3 degrees, much more relevant in terms of classic racing. We're still on track Natalie, 2 5-kilometer loops, and as you can see here, a fairly straightforward start for 750 meters or so before we come to the first of the big climbs here. The steepest of the climbs, 54 meters, and in each of the 5-kilometer loops, you can see that they climb overall about 180 meters, but there's a very big downhill descent. Well, this is the situation in the World Cup. Charlotte Kalla, a second outright victory of the season, giving her that 124-point advantage, but the Norwegians are really piled up behind her today. Haga, Weng, Jakobsen, Bjørgen, Østberg, and they're all going to chase. And you can see there that they're within 29 seconds of Charlotte Kalla, who'll be saying to them, catch me if you can. And there are others who may well come into the race. I'd keep an eye on Theresa Stadlober of Austria, 46 seconds for her to make up. But there is a group of athletes, and amongst them, Jess Diggins, 40 seconds back, and then Kertu Niskanen, 43 back, Sadie Bjørnsen, 44 back, Sedova of Russia, 46, Stadlober of Austria, 46, and all of those are in a little tight group there. So whilst I've talked about the Norwegians, who might have a joint game plan to get up and attack Charlotte Kalla for the lead, there's this other group that's behind that may well be significant as well. So in other words, over 10,000 meters, anyone within a minute who's a good classic exponent may well make some positional gains here today. This race, a race in its own right, and it's something that I think Charlotte Kalla looking forward to try and hold off the pursuing posse, particularly of the Norwegians. So not too far away now from the start. Charlotte Kalla in the white for Sweden, and just a 5-second advantage over Ragnhild Haga of Norway, who'll be the closest pursuer. Charlotte Kalla, who said after yesterday's victory, I worked a lot in the summer, skiing fast on the flat sections. I knew that was going to be important in Toblach, and it is pretty flat as she comes out of the start gate. Loves racing in Toblach, and also complimented her service team for excellent skis yesterday. And she said, inside myself, physically, I feel that my body is really responding really well. Ragnhild Haga in picture there. The race was really fast, hard course. It was important to pace myself. I wanted to have petrol in the tank to go fast in the second lap. And really happy with her second place in today's pursuit. So here we go, about 10 seconds to the start of the women's 10K Classic Pursuit. So away goes Charlotte Kalla in this women's 10-kilometer pursuit. She is the odds-on favourite to stay in first place. Heidi Weng of Norway, 13 seconds behind and on her way. 11-10 second favourite. Marit Bjørgen at 8-1. Ragnhild Haga at 9-1. Jakobsen of Norway, who had a really excellent freestyle race yesterday, 12-1. Østberg 20-1. And the rest, Niskanen 60-61 and beyond. So, as I said, the first part of this race, pretty straightforward on the valley floor. As they come out here, you get an idea of this flat section with them double poling out. But the Norwegians in second, third, fourth and fifth places, and sixth place, I should say, separated by just 20-odd seconds, and will inevitably work as a group together. There goes Ida Ingemarsdotter for Sweden. You can recognize her. She's one of the tallest athletes around. She's got a deficit of 58 seconds to make up and goes out ahead of Ebba Andersson with a 58-second deficit. A lifetime best for Ebba yesterday. Young, improving, 13th place finish for her. And they pour out here from the start. Air temperature around 0, snow -5. So servicemen would have been keeping an eye on that. They will have been out now for the past 5 hours testing the skis to see what is the optimum preparation, taking into account the 360 meters of climbing that will be involved in the 2 rotations of this 5-kilometer loop, but also in particular the big long descent into the finish back into the Toblach arena. Track Nathalie, named after the chief of competition, Nathalie Santerre, former biathlete, as this field gets out here. But you can see 2:24, that sort of deficit. It's not anything that these athletes can do in terms of trying to get up with the big points and the big money, because what they'll be concentrating on is improving their position, hopefully getting into the top 30, maybe scoring the odd World Cup points. Also interesting to notice in the start list on the first page, the Russian generation, Sedova, Nepraeva, and also Belorukova, all of them within 1 minute and 16 seconds. And most of them are pretty skilled and adept in both disciplines as we travel out here with Charlotte Kalla. Charlotte, who's this season training very much on her own and with her support team together with her, the same as it was last season. There you can see Ragnhild Hilda 5 seconds behind, starting to try and close that gap. And then you can see that she's just nibbled away an odd second. And here comes the next of the Norwegians. Bib number 3 is Heidi Weng. Bib number 4, Astrid Jakobsen. Now, they started 13 and 18 seconds behind, so they're on the money there. Marit Bjørgen, she started 22 off, so she's made 5 seconds. Ersberg, 29 seconds back. She's made 4 seconds in the opening section. And here, Jess Diggins leading this next posse with Kertu Niskanen in there, Sadie Bjørnsen, and also Sedova. Sedova in there, the Russians wearing those maroon race suits for this season. 17, Nicole Fessel for Germany, being pursued there by Natalie von Siebenthal. 18, that's Laura Mononen. And out they go, still working their way through the first 750 meters till they start the beginning of the climb, the steepest climb. So Kalla maintaining effectively her advantage, going out in the early stage of this. All of those athletes that you've seen now, or each one of them trying to find their own rhythm. Ragnhild Haga just a little wayward there, coming out of that turn, and now you can see this lovely rhythm that Charlotte's got here, building up. I mentioned the fact that she's really training outside the national team. The national team pretty okay with that. It was last year that Kalla felt that she needed to try something a little bit different going into that season, and she's kept on in that way. Heidi Weng, who's pursuing her, she made an interesting observation that she had never seen Charlotte Kaller in such good shape before Christmas, but she's fascinated to know after the holidays whether she'll be just as strong. Obviously, everybody wondering whether Kaller has done too much too early in the season, but her coach, Magnus Ingersson, he says that she's in good shape and she has plenty of opportunity to prepare for the Olympics after the holidays. Well, great picture here. There's Charlotte Kaller on the left, and here are the 6, or I should say 5 Norwegians chasing on the extreme right of your picture there. Astrid Jacobsen looking very motivated. Her best race of the season by some way yesterday. Of course, all of these athletes, they have on their mind to secure Olympic qualification, which will also allow them just to relax. Jess Diggins on the right there, wearing bib number 7 for the USA. Bib number 9, Sadie Björnsson, her American teammate. Theresa Stadlober, who's a very useful classic skier for Austria. Started Stadlober in 11th place, thus bib number 11, and has a chance to move up there. In the white there, bib number 8, that's Kerttu Niskanen. And they're the under-23 leader in their ranking table. That's Natalia Nepraeva, who finished a respectable 14th and lies 12th overall in the World Cup rankings for the season. 73 starters from 18 countries as they now work their way to 3,500 meters. Kaller coming up here, and she's pacing this wonderfully at the moment. And there you can see that, well, Haga, who wears bib number 2 on the right of your screen, she started with a 5-second deficit. It's now 8 seconds, so Kaller at the moment holding them off. We always knew that Kaller was a great freestyle racer, but classic has improved over the years. Kaller, like Marit Bjørgen, like Ørsberg, there'll be a few more as well, will not participate in the Tour de Ski. She's going into a heavy training period immediately after this race, and will prepare then for the next phase of the season, not only with her coaches and service team, but also with a mental coach and a psychologist. And she's a much stronger racer at the moment. So early stages of this particular race, which gives me an opportunity, as you see this chasing group in a moment, to reflect on the performance in the men's race of particular interest. Yesterday's men's race, of course, won by Simon Hegstedt Kruger, his first ever World Cup win, from Maurice Magnificat of France, and Andrew Musgrave of Great Britain in 3rd place. And he picked up 5,000 Swiss francs for the 3rd place finish. But more importantly, this was Andrew's thoughts and quote after the finish there. Today, this was my first proper World Cup podium. All the previous ones were for fast times in pursuit competitions. One of them was also in Toblach, so I knew I could do well here. I was confident. Everything was in the right place at the right time. I'm really in good shape. I'm skiing well. And referring to later today, my classic has not been great this year, but I'm in a great position. Well, you can see now that they've caught up with Charlotte Kaller, and they put her like the meat in the sandwich now for them as they move up. So this is the chase to complete the first of the rotations at 5 kilometers, and then repeating the course Nepereva on the right, Diggins on the left there. Charlotte Kalla still out in front at the moment. Apologies if I confused there. But some big gaps. Ishida quite a long way back, although Classic is much more her forte and should gain a few places. So here come the leaders. And there you can see Kalla having been absorbed as they come into complete 5 kilometers. And up front for Norway, of course. Jakobsen, the tallest in the group there, and this is this little climb over the bridge, and Marit Bjørgen in that characteristic stride of hers ahead there of Heidi Weng. Kalla now at the back of the group there, and the Norwegians working together. Just ahead of Kalla is Ragnhild Haga. But this is far from over. So that gap, they started with a spread of 29 seconds. That gap has been closed. Now the next interesting differential is between, let's say, Jess Diggins and Nepereva. Here they come. And you can see 39 seconds. So they've gained the odd second or two, but they haven't really made much impression. And that's largely because of the acceleration of the Norwegians in the last kilometre. So back to business here, and in single file. Kalla just biding her time. I wouldn't by any means say that she's a spent force at this stage of the race, and it might be tactically quite wise to stay in touch, but now just moving to her left there and just cutting in front of her. Ragnhild Haga on that track just closes the door a little bit, and Marit Bjørgen cutting out the work here at this moment. Bjørgen, 37 years of age, already a winner this season, her 111th World Cup success. And of course her eyes very much on the Olympics, and I think the distance races more than the sprint. She may indeed not be selected to represent Norway in the individual or indeed the team sprint, although that's a matter which will get decided in December. So Bjørgen ahead of Heidi Weng, and then Østberg for the back there. That's Astrid Jakobsen, and then the other two, Haga and Kalla, on the other file to the right of your screen. So with the injection of pace coming into the stadium on the downhill section there, the Norwegians not only caught up Kalla, but they also ensured that they were maintaining the advantage over the rest of the field. So the third group, as it was, not really catching. Nepereva leading this, effectively the second group now. With that under 23 bib. Nepereva, only 22 years of age. 8 there. Bib number 8, Katu Niskanen. Niskanen pretty accomplished in this discipline. 20 at the back there, that's Belokova of Russia. And to the left of her, that's Katrin Harsem for Norway. Just behind that group there, Ingemardsdottir, the tall Swedish athlete on the right of your screen. And now a little bit more action here amongst the leaders. Look at this, 6 of them virtually together now. 3 tracks and taking advantage of the width of the course here. Still Marit Bjørgen, and to her right, to your left on the far side now, Ingvild Østberg, who had that victory in Davos last weekend. Her, or at least one of her favourite resorts there, where she seems to have success pretty well every time she goes there. Østberg, by so doing, securing her flight ticket to Pyeongchang for the Winter Olympics. Marit Bjørgen leading up, and in the middle of these 3, Heidi Weng, as you can see. Charlotte Kalla now struggling on this climb, and I'm just wondering, this is maybe ski preparation, not gripping, and she's struggling on the climb here really badly. And as much as she praised the servicemen yesterday, today it's a different case, and she's been left behind here. So Norway in the first 5 positions at the moment. So the Norwegians still in charge. Kalla seems to have recovered a little bit and has started to maintain her position, although she's become a target for Nepereva and Jess Diggins right behind. The gap between Kalla and Nepereva, something like 35 seconds, because the camera was really foreshortening. 7 on the left of your picture. That's Jess Diggins for America. Nepereva on the right there, Sadie Bjørnsen. Jess Diggins, who's in the top 10 in the World Cup rankings. Distance racing has been pretty solid this season, although maybe a little disappointed that yesterday wasn't better, in the sense that of her 3 World Cup victories, 2 have come here in Toblach over 5,000 meters in freestyle skate. So this is harder for her, but interesting to watch there Kerttu Niskanen, who lies at the moment in 8th place in the overall World Cup and goes to the front now of that group. 12th, 26th, 17th, 7th, and yesterday 8th place for her, her best distance race of the season. Bjørgen marching away here from Østberg and Weng, and Jakobsen getting left behind, and Hilda as well, and then spread out to Kalla and Bjørgen, characteristically using these uphill sections where she's been so effective in the past. 1 or 2 people were wondering, thinking, well, is Bjørgen in trouble? Has she lost her form? But as I said yesterday, her coaches said, fear not, Marit will be ready for the Olympic Games. And this is now difficult for Charlotte, because she's losing contact. She's lost contact with the front 3, and chasing now Haga, who isn't making much progress either. So there you can see the gaps there. Kalla 25 seconds behind Bjørgen as they spread out. Niskanen chasing now, and the leaders through 7,100 meters. Next check we'll have the leaders have gone through 8,500 meters, so less than 1,500 meters to go. Kalla 25 seconds behind in 6th place. Niskanen 48 seconds behind, leading that group in, at the moment, 7th place. So those are the rankings. 1,500 meters to go, and these are the current positions. So Marit Bjørgen, the winner of the very first competition of the distance season, 10 kilometers classic style in Ruka. She's been, after that, 5th, 4th, 9th, and yesterday 5th, so pretty consistent. Ersberg, 3rd over the 10-kilometer classic distance, 7th, 8th, the winner in Davos, and yesterday 6th, so again, pretty solid form. Kalle, so far out of the 5 races, 4 podiums, just that blip in Davos, but this looks to be another day on which she's not going to be collecting the major points here. 10,000 Swiss francs to the winner, and inevitably we're looking here at a clean sweep for the Norwegians. Up the last of the demanding climbs, and then it's all about a descent into the stadium. Jakobsen not able to go with the first 3, and Marit Bjørgen, this has been a terrific effort from her, picking up the pace just before the half distance, and 3 Norwegians in here. Bjørgen, Ersberg, Weng, and who's going to get the victory here? Marit Bjørgen may not have shown the best sprint form this season, but she's still a force to be reckoned with under the Wiesmann Bridge, approaching the last 50 meters. Marit Bjørgen wearing bib number 5. Heidi Weng to your right, Ersberg to the left, and it's victory number 2 of the season for Marit Bjørgen. 10 kilometers classic, and maintains a solid record over this distance and in this style. Coming home now, this is Astrid Jakobsen. This has definitely been her best weekend. 4th yesterday, 4th today. And in the distance there is Ragnhild Haga. Disappointment for her. Like Kalle, ski's not working as well as she might have wished, and Kalle will complete the top 6, and there you can see the race coming in for 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th places. So Nepereva's there, but she's not leading this charge. It's Jess Diggins effervescently pushing home ahead of the Russian to maintain her 7th place, which she finished in yesterday ahead of Nepereva. And that's not a bad effort by Jess Diggins in 10 kilometers classic style. Great effort, but Marit Bjørgen, another victory for her in the World Cup. And any doubts there were about her well-being, well, I think those have just been answered. So more coming home now. Teresa Stadlober in 10th place.
Och här kommer nästa svenska som är Ida Ingemarsdotter, och då åker Ida mot en 15:e plats, och där bakom kommer Ebba Andersson och kommer upp i 16:e. Rangfeldsen för die Schwedin Ida Ingemarsdotter und dahinter ihr Mannschaftskollega die junge Ebba Andersson in Ziel auf 6.
So as they come home, Marit Bjørgen, she collects the 10,000 Swiss francs along with her victory today. 7,500 Swiss francs goes to the runner-up. In this case, it's Ersberg and Heidi Weng for finishing in 3rd place, 5,000.